Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to build something I'm super excited about, an AI powered chatbot in React, which is going to be powered by Google's Gemini API. Here is what's really cool. We'll start with a clean React app setup using create React app, add a simple TypeScript configuration and make our API calls using the built-in fetch function. So no extra heavy libraries. That means anyone following along this video can get this running without installing a bunch of extra stuff. We're going to build a sleek chat interface where you can type a question, send it off to Gemini, and get a real AI response right there in our browser. We shall also see how to set up our Gemini API key safely, connect it to our front end, and handle the responses in real time. Uh, by the end of this video, we shall be basically having a fully working chatbot which we can customize maybe for our portfolio, side project, or maybe just to impress our friends. So stick around because in the next 10 to 15 minutes, we are going to go from zero to a fully functional AI chat application. So let's jump right in. All right. So I've already set up a new React project using Create React App with TypeScript template. So the way of setting up this project I have followed is very pretty conventional, which is by using the npx create React App command in the CLI. So that gave a boilerplate React application to start off with. But I have also cleaned up the unnecessary files like the default logo, header, and some CSS that comes up with a fresh React application. So now we have something like a clean slate to build our chatbot UI. Let's quickly look at the package.json. As we can see, it's pretty minimal right now. We don't have any extra dependencies installed. We are going to use a native fetch API for making requests to instead of Axios. But if you prefer Axios, you can always go ahead and install it. No issues in that. And yeah, this project was also set up with TypeScript. So you can also see like TypeScript is there in the dev dependencies. And the tsconfig file is also there. So we have kept it as a default configuration as of now. So coming to the project structure, there's a React application. So the core files, components of a React application are there. So as we can see, like we have index.js, and we have made no changes to this as of now. And we also have app.tsx. So since we're using TypeScript, it is tsx. And this whatever we see is dummy code which we have basically placed over there. We have removed the boilerplate and it is there. The Coming to the project structure again, and the folder we have added is we have inside src we have components, and inside components we will be having our project files. So yeah, that is the structure we follow. Okay, so let's create our API key which we would actually be requiring for creating this application. So to create an API key, as we are using Google Gemini, so we shall have to come to AI Studio. So go to your respective Google account and navigate to this URL of aistudio.google.com, and we would see this page. Okay, so this is a studio dashboard and documentation. And once we see like there are a lot of things, variables, parameters which we can adjust from here. So we will go to our dashboard, and in the dashboard we shall quickly see that there are ways how it is given API key, how we can create it, how we have to use it. So to create our API key, we have to hit this create API key option. And once we do that, a pop-up comes in front of us where we have to choose our project. So usually what we see is the project would be selected as Jenny Lang client, and then this would be a default project for us if we are not creating any projects. But if we want to create some projects, we can definitely, there is a URL where we have to go and we have to create our new project, and we can have API keys with respect to different projects also. So currently we are using it for default project, and then we hit on create API key. This is going to generate our API key. We can copy it from here. No worries, even if we don't copy, we can again copy it back later. But yeah, I'm copying it. Don't copy my API key as I will be disabling it later. So yeah, and here, as you can see, like I have already set up two API keys. So it shows up all the API keys will be showed in this your dashboard. So now that we have got our API key, we need to use it to send this API key along with our API request to Google Gemini from our chatbot. So the best way to do it is via using the .env nomenclature in our project. So we create a .env file in our project, and then we just have to add this key over there. So we use React app Gemini key, and we copy it and we paste it over here. And one thing to note is that whatever is the name we want to give to this custom key, we just have to use React underscore app as the prefix so that we can use it inside our code via process.env variable. Coming to the next part of creating a chatbot UI, so we would be doing that inside components and Gemini chat .tsx. So this is going to be the component which would be taking care of the chatbot UI. So now, as our objective is to basically we see how a chatbot UI interacts with these APIs of LLMs. So we are not basically going to create the entire UI from scratch. So I have already created it for our reference and to save our time actually. So we shall be seeing how this actually works and not basically how to build it. So I have used chat app.css is also there. So basically there is also some styling given. This is a very basic and minimal styling which I provided, but yeah, there is something which we can definitely go through. And this is nomenclature basically. So how a basic React application is built. So using state variables, so messages are there, input is there to capture the user input. Then we have the store loading variable and a lot of code which we can see. Moving down, we can see we have the JSX of the component we are actually building. So it is basically split into two parts. So as we know, like a chatbot has two components. So one will be the chat messages where we can see the window for that. The other would be the form where the user can provide the inputs and as a send button to query more information from the chatbot. Then looking onto the CSS file, the chat app.css. So it has all the styling which we actually want to give for the component. So yeah, and the next step is now to import this Gemini chat into app.tsx. So we remove the dummy code which we had to start off this application. So we import Gemini chat and then the server is up. So we just simply go to the UI and we see that the chatbot UI is up. Okay. So now moving on to the next step where our chatbot UI is ready. So we shall now finally connect to Gemini AI using all the setup which we have done till now. So we shall try test this. So let's try what is next.js. It says thinking. The user cannot add a new message also temporarily until the response has been received from the AI model. Yes, look at that. We just got our first AI generated response from Gemini. This is so cool. Our chatbot is officially talking back to us, powered entirely by Google's AI. And we just built this ourselves. So, guys, if you have been following along, give yourself a pat on the back. This is the exact moment where your app transforms from a static UI into a real interactive AI chatbot. So let's interact further with this chatbot and see if it preserves the history of what the chat context is about. So let us write who is the founder of Next.js. Okay, and it sends a response. So yes, it is actually preserving the history of this chat. It is not treating it as a fresh prompt which we are sending to the AI model. So let's play more with this AI chatbot. It's actually fun. So let's create more now. And it is bringing back the responses. You can see that in the chat dialog box. Okay, so it's a very big long message. We have to go through it. The messages can obviously be formatted more to make it more appropriate, and UI or UX can be made more appropriate like a Google Gemini. I'm not doing that, so my main objective of this video is basically to see how it works and how we integrate it. So I'm not touching that part. And finally, let us ask this model some tricky questions. So let us check. Do you know ChatGPT? Okay, it gives a response. We have also given an option where the user can directly copy the chat messages. So there is a copy icon on the top right corner of the chat dialog box. So a user clicks that and it's get easily copied to the clipboard and you can play with it. And that's it. We just built our very own AI-powered chatbot in React using Google's Gemini API. We went from a blank project all the way to sending messages and getting smart AI responses. If you enjoyed this tutorial and learned something new, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell icon so you don't miss more AI plus React projects like this. I have also linked the source code and resources in the description, so please feel free to check those out and start experimenting. Thank you so much for watching. Happy coding, and I will see you in the next one.